Hello, good morning or good evening, wherever you are. How are you doing? This is Dr. Pam here. Today's, I'm going to discuss about children. This is part 3 of discussing about children. And as parents, diaspora parents, African parents, American parents, there are basic things that we need to teach our children more and more, especially with this young generation. Because sometimes, because of the kind of work some of us do, most of us do, because we are busy, being busy, until sometimes we don't have time for our children. But what I've learned, and I've learned from other people, other experts, is that the way you train your child, it's a Bible verse that says, let me just read it. Start children off on the way they should go, and even when they are old, they will not turn from it. Meaning that we have to start early with our children. We have to start early. You can't wait until they are 16, 17 is when, because by the time they are 12, as I said the other day, by the time they are 12, they are already formed. So you are not going to change a grown child. You have to start as early as possible. Train them the way of the Lord. Train them the way to fear God. And as they grow up, they will learn. And every child, you can't give a child who is 7 years old what you can give a child who is 13 years old. You have to learn their maturity level. Where are they? Because some kids mature earlier than others, and others mature late. So you have to really know which level your child is before you start introducing different topics for them. Sometimes the children will come with questions. Then you have to know that I think they are ready for this and that topic. Because if you don't do it, somebody else is going to do it. That is very, very key. One thing that I think is that we have to even introduce them to books that are God-fearing, books that are, they are not books that are going to open their curiosity, okay? Books that are so sexual that a child is going to be so curious. What is this they're talking about? Oh, they kissed, they did this, they did that. You can't introduce a 12-year-old child, even 12-year-old child. You can't introduce them to some of these deep things that adults do. So you have to do that. The other thing that I've learned through training my children, through other parents, is that children love words of affirmation. Even if they make a mistake, you correct the children. You would tell your child, you messed here, it was wrong. But you are a good child. What you did was wrong because you did it at that time, because it was a mistake. And I don't accept that mistake, but I still love you. But you are not stupid. But you are a good boy. The children will listen to you as a parent more than they can listen to anybody else. But if you are the one who is not giving your child words of affirmation, who are not giving your child, who is not approving what your child does, every time they're doing something, you're criticizing them. Even they do some good drawing, you're criticizing them. They write a poem, you are the first person to criticize them. Even the poem is not good. There is a way you have to criticize so that a child feels, you know what, Mom likes my poem, but I think I can work better on this poem next time. The children love that, to know that you actually appreciate their effort. If you don't do that and their friends do that, and the friends say, oh my goodness, that is nice, they are going to be listening to your children. Everybody who doesn't like, don't you like when people approve you? Don't you like when people tell you, oh, you did this? Every one of us likes word of affirmation, words of approval. Somebody says, you look good today. That dress looks nice on you. It doesn't matter whether you are 10 or you're 90. Anybody loves words of affirmation. And once you know that, then you know that kids are sponges. They love that. And as parents, you need to know that your children are looking for that kind of love from you. Especially dads, moms, those, you have to introduce your kids to words of affirmation. In my house, I always look, even my own kids, I try to tell my kids to talk positive things about their brothers and sisters. There's always going to be sibling rivalry all the time. But as a parent, you have to make sure you tell your child, no, talk positive things about your brother. Talk positive things about what is something. If you get it quickly and correct it right away. I remember back a while ago, my two older kids, they would, I think they learned in school, they started, like putting each other down, looking at something somebody has, oh, your teeth are this or whatever is this. I was like, no, we don't do that. We don't talk about somebody's weakness, somebody's biological thing they were born with. If you have gap, you have whatever, you don't have to put people down because of what they have. So the kids learn, and later they came to say, Mom, it is true what you are saying. The kids will learn. You are the first teacher for your children. You are the first person they will listen to. And if they know, you will tell them all these things, but you also have to live that. You can give them education, you can give them money, you can buy them everything, but if you're not there for them, they will not listen. Even you have to spend quality time. We work, all of us work. Who doesn't work? But that little time you have, spend quality time versus buying them gadgets. Very, very key. Some parents, they would work triple and double, work 16 hours every day to buy their kids, I don't know, iPhone 7, I don't know, iPhone 11, buy them, I don't know what, buy them what. No, let me tell you something. Kids don't care about those iPhones. They would take iPhone 6, the old version, but prefer having you as a parent. The other thing, it is whatever you introduce, the God, the Bible says, the God of my fathers. You've heard that? The God of my fathers. Do you know why that it is? Because it is the God of my parents. So as parents, you introduce your kids to your God, and they would introduce their kids to their God. And even if they go astray, they will always remember those things they learned in church. Let me tell you, the kids, they even when they're sitting in church, they're walking back and forth, they're singing those songs in church, they are still listening. They are still hearing things. I remember sometimes my daughter comes and says, "Oh, Mom, who is that person who talks about going to church and somebody calling at night? Was that God calling?" Remember the story of Samuel and Eli, where Samuel wakes up at night and says, goes to Eli, who was the priest in the church, and goes to Eli and said, Samuel hears Eli called 3 times, Samuel, Samuel. Then he wakes up and goes to Eli and says, "You called me." Eli says, "I didn't call you. Go back to sleep." And then he goes back, sleeps, and then Samuel hears, Samuel hears, Samuel. Then he goes back. Then asks Eli, "Did you call me?" So the 3rd time is when Eli tells Samuel, "Go back and say, 'Here I am, Lord. Tell me whatever you want to tell me.'" So my daughter had that. And one time she was asking from nowhere. She's asking me, "Mom, who is that who says that?" The things we say, the things the kids hear, if you are using the curse words, if you are using the whatever words you're using, that is what the kids are going to use. You cannot use curse words and say all these things and tell the children, "Oh, you should not curse, you should not do this." They follow what you do. They follow what you do. The other thing is about talking to your children like they are real people. Most of us talk to our children like they're little children. Some of your children are 12, 13, 16, some are 10. They like to be talked to like they are somebody. Children are somebody. They are somebody. You want to talk to them like the way somebody can talk to you. Not always being dismissive. Just like go away, go. That time was all gone during our father's time. That is when kids would be dismissed. Kids wants to be heard. You can't dictate. Dictatorship is way gone. Guys, dictatorship is gone. I'm telling you, dictatorship is gone. You can't dictate these kids of nowadays. No, you dialogue, you talk. How was school today? It was fine. What did you do today? This, such. Oh, my work was this today. This and such happened at my job today. And then, what did you do, ma'am? And this and this happened. And then they will tell you. And then you talk. And then, in the conversation is when you correct them. You say, oh, really? They did that? I don't think that is nice. Then, like they feel somebody cares. Who doesn't like to feel like somebody cares? Who doesn't? I like to know that somebody cares. And the children want to know that somebody really cares. That is what is important. That is what is important. They want to know that somebody cares. And the other thing is that even for some of us who are raising our children in church, we also have to be very, very careful, even if we are raising them in church. Instead of instilling fear, let's instill faith in them. Instead of instilling so much fear, let's instill faith. Let's tell them this is what it is. This is what are the repercussions of what you do. This is what it is. But the choice is yours. You don't have to put so much fear. Even sex education, when you tell them if you do this, these are the consequences. Choices have consequences. When you make such a choice with your friends, these are the consequences. When you make such a choice with so and so, these are the consequences. You dialogue with them without instilling fear, but giving them faith, giving them something to look up to, giving them something to look forward to. The people have done this in the Bible. This is how God used David. This is how God used Samuel. This is how God used Sarah. This is how God used Elijah. This is how God used Elisha. You're just giving them an example through their story. This is how God used David. This is how David turned from Saul to who? I don't remember. This is how Saul to Paul. Okay, so you have to teach your children to know that even when you make mistakes yourself, apologize. The kids will know that even adults make mistakes. Adults make mistakes. None of us is perfect. The other thing that is so crucial is empowering our children, letting them make mistakes, telling them you can do this, empowering them to decide and make decisions for themselves. Sometimes we want to baby them so much. Like this season, I'm doing this video, it's during coronavirus 2019, COVID-19. My 19-year-old, he's home. He told me to move everything out of the out of the garage. So he has fixed a nice gym in the garage. And then I saw my stove had a problem. He fixed it. Now he also wanted to fix something else, but he could not manage to fix it. Actually, instead of fixing it, costed me more money. But guess what? He came and said, "Mom, maybe I should have not done that." He apologized. I said, "That's okay. I know it, I didn't like because it was costing me money. But I empowered him. I let him do what he wanted to do. He built a gym. And let me tell you something. These are things I'm also learning. Even my mom, who is 80 plus, she tells me some of the things. She teaches me. I learned from. You can never stop learning until you die. That is another thing. People think that they always know. There is nobody who is perfect. There is nobody who knows everything. You always learn. I learned from my mom. My mom said, let him make those mistakes because he's learning from them. And also, you are empowering this young man to know that actually he can do. He's doing a lot of things. Around the house, outside the house. And I'm like, do it. When you go with your younger brother so that he can learn from you. When your younger brother learns from you, he will also, in the future, do when he's in that level where he can do that. So, empowering the kids instead of being controlling. And this is one of the biggest problems, especially African parents have, African dads. The way they were raised to be controlling. They were raised to, I can't even say control. They were raised to be macho, not to show affection, not to show emotion to their children. Let me tell you, people in the streets, they know how to show emotion. Peer groups, they know how to show emotion. If you don't show emotion, you don't teach your child, you don't show them what they are supposed to do, somebody else is going to teach them for you. If you don't teach them about sex education, about this, about that, somebody is going to teach them. So it's either you decide, I am going to teach my children the best way I know, the best way I want them to be, the best way I want them to grow up and be children who are God-fearing children who are doing the right thing. If you don't teach them, the streets will teach them. The peer groups, peer pressure will teach them. And on that note, especially for girls or even for boys, you need to teach them to know everything as it is. If it's a baby girl, you're going to teach them to know where or when, if somebody touches you or somebody comes close to you, there's that personal space. Thank God for the social distancing. Thank God for social distancing. You teach them and tell them this is what it is, because they trust you. Because there's peer pressure. Their friends are gonna teach them. If you don't teach them, their friends are gonna teach them. You don't want their friends to teach them. So you want your children to learn your way, the way you want them to be raised. If you don't, somebody will do it. The choice is yours. You have to do it. Also, you have to know, like some of us who are in diaspora, we work. Sometimes you might let your children go to your friends' houses so that you can work. Some of you have children, like us, who have kids who are a little bit younger, because I have 19, I have 17, I have 19, I have 16, I have 11, and I have 10, 9, almost 10. So the younger ones, thank God I have my mom here, she's helping, so I don't have to worry. But there are people who have to take their children to their friends. Please know who are those people, who are those friends. Because especially if you are working night shift, you have to really, really know. Teach your children. If they are going to sleep in your friend's house, teach them. Teach them that this is what it is. And sometimes make technical appearances. Just go and say, oh, today, you know what? 3 a.m. Just say, you know what? Something happened at work and I decided to come. I'm just going to sleep here with them, or I'm just going to go, take them home. No. Children don't get hurt, don't get molested by strangers. Most of the time, children get molested by people in the family. Cousins, brothers, sisters, brothers, or even sisters, doing for the cousins, whatever. Uncles, 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 I'm telling you. You have to tell the children. You have to. I have said to my boys, when me and my daughter, because my daughter still sleeps in our bedroom, when we are in our bedroom, we don't want you. Come into our bedroom, we are sleeping. Nobody should come when somebody is asleep in bed and sit or do something in our bedroom. No. You just have to have that. Sleepovers. Guys, you have to be very careful. For me, there's no sleepover. For me, sleepover doesn't happen in my house. No sleepover. I mean, yes, we are in America. Yes, American have sleepovers. I don't have sleepovers. I see sometimes, I remember, who was that? There's somebody, one of our relatives, who let the sons go, I don't know, to sleep with some people from school. Who are those people? Yes, you know yourself, you trust yourself, but do you trust those people? Do you know who are the people in the house, in that house? Do you know the cousins who are coming in that house when you are not there? Do you know the uncles, the whatever, the grandfathers, the boyfriends of whoever? When you allow people to go, your children to go for sleepover, you have to think about all that. You have to think about all that to know exactly where your children are. The other thing that I'm going to talk about is depression. The children are having so much, they are so bombarded with so many things that they are ending up being depressed. So you have to talk about this. Start early. Depression, anxiety. Have an open dialogue. Let them tell you. Let them tell you what their friends are talking about. It's okay. The kids need somewhere where they can express themselves. They need to know that you care enough to listen to them. If they're depressed, they want to know. Even sometimes you are like, this problem is too small. The problem for a child might look very small. But for them, that problem is the biggest thing in their life. So you have to know that when they're coming with you with their problem, they are there for you so that you can know that they need you to help them solve that problem, or just tell them it's gonna be okay. That is all they want. If you don't do that, somebody else will do it. Somebody else will do it. Especially this era we are here of COVID-19. I have had so many kids, young kids, 12, 10, having sexual orgies and whatever. You have to mention to your kids. There's so much peer pressure. You have to mention to them. And you have to know where they're going. If they're going to their friends, you have to keep talking. Even if, sometimes they're like, they don't want to hear what you're saying. Mom, what are you saying? You don't know what you're saying. You don't know. But let me tell you something. When you say it, they are listening. When you say it, they can hear you. They might be yelling or, being dismissive, but they can hear. Say it anyway. Just say it. Before they leave, say, sometimes they're like, oh, Mom, you're saying this, or you say that, or sometimes they almost finish my sentence. That's how bad it is. They sometimes finish my sentence. I'm saying, you're going to do this. They almost finish your sentence. You say it and leave God to do the rest for you. Once you say what you have to say, you let God speak for you. And He will. And He will. And your words will come to them when they are whatever, when they're in trouble, their words will come to them. I've had one time my daughter call me, and we prayed. We prayed. So many occasions when my daughter is at her dad's house, she calls me. She's like, Mom, I can't sleep. Can we pray? Yes, Mommy, we are going to pray. So that you can sleep. So it is a learning process for all of us. I'm not perfect. I don't know everything. I don't have answers. I'm just giving you my opinion, what I feel. If you have other things you feel that I should include, please share them down there. Share them. Share the comments. If you feel that I need to improve, share. This is not a monologue. This is a dialogue for all of us. We share. Put comments down there. What do you think as a parent? What do you think is the most important thing you should do as a parent? What is the most important thing you should do? Please share down there. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, and also share this video. Share in groups. Thank you, Dr. Pam Obara Mogaka, all the way from Michigan, US. I love you guys. Appreciate you. Be blessed. Thank you.